Hello, Craig Price here. I haven't done too much on this channel lately. I post stuff about my books sometimes. I have about 20 published books, sci-fi, fantasy mostly. Love coming on YouTube and watch music and stuff, and one of my buddies has always told me to do more YouTube videos. Well, this song started hitting viral, and I started seeing all the people react to it. Now, this is not going to be my first reaction. I have seen and listened to the song, and it hit me and really just wanted to talk about it. So if this is something that I see all these reaction things, I never really understood them, but it has interested me, and I might think about doing some of these more actual first time reactions. This is more of it's a discussion reaction. I just really want to get some of the feelings that came out of me from listening to this song. It cuts deep for the hardworking man. I'm just gonna dive right in and see if I can remember how to do any of this stuff here.
I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you.
There is no question of why this song is hitting so hard and cutting people so deep. I mean, as I said, this is not my first time listening to it, but every time I listen to it, and still now, I tear up because this man, you can see it in his face right here, right? I mean, you can see it. You can see it in his face. It's all emotion. He is just pouring all of it out. Overtime hours for BS pay. The amount of work that I have done. I mean, I've done my first job from McDonald's to working, Fred Meyer, to going and doing floor installation, hard labor work, to doing shipyard hard labor work. I mean, working my tail off for some BS pay is something that speaks deep. If you have had to grind and try and get ahead in life and still live paycheck to paycheck and try to put that money up and try to save it, and then life happens, something breaks in your on your car, on your, it's just it cuts deep, and it's very painful and a struggle, and it just brings tears to your eyes if you have lived through that. Let's keep on moving on here.
Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is. Living in the new world with an whole soul.
A lot of people give this line some attention. Living in a new world with an old soul. If you can see right here behind me, this monographic, phonographic, whatever the terminology is, this record player I got in the bag here. I felt that my whole life. Old soul. A lot of stuff in this world to me, I just don't get. I don't get all. I like having some technology stuff, but I love my record player. I love listening to records. You can buy records from 60 years ago. It's gonna play forever. You buy a cassette tape or a CD, it's gonna break in a year or two. It's not built like it was. It's not like it was quality wise back in the day for many different things. And I still have a typewriter that was my grandpa's, and it's just I still love typing letters on a typewriter, handwriting letters to people. It's just that old soul is, I feel it.
These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do, 'cause your dollar.
So this one here, obviously north of Richmond, Washington D.C. and want to know what you think, want to know what you do. And it's not so much that as they want to tell you what to think and what to do, you know. But I'm dead center. I'm not one side or the other. But I've watched the news stations on both sides, and it's just they want to say, "Oh, this is how you should think. This is how you should feel. This is," and then if you actually take a step out of that, and if you look at the same story on both sides, you realize that neither side is telling the truth. It's always for an agenda, and yeah, I'll just move on here.
Ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end, 'cause the rich men, 'cause the rich men.
Dollar ain't nothing. I'm not that old. I'm in my 30s, and I remember going to the store as a kid with a quarter and getting several pieces of candy, several candy bars and stuff, you know, and just you can't get a single candy bar for $1 anymore. It's so insane how much life is. I mean, so just real quick on this. So I got a paycheck and I was shorted 2 days of my pay. It's one of those monthly paycheck things, which is a little bit hard to work with. But I was shorted 2 days of pay, which was about 1/6 of my paycheck or something like that, or something crazy. I don't remember. It ended up being a decent bit, but when I got that back and it got fixed, I didn't get that much more money. It was insane. Like, I got 40% of that 2 days. I mean, you know, they say taxes 20, 30%. No, I did the math. It was like less than 40% for those 2 days. Just, I guess, something difference between, you know, 40 hours a week versus less than that caught in the bracket, whatever it was. I was just flabbergasted that there was that much missing from my paycheck, and then by the time I got it fixed, I got that much of it. It was just crazy to me.
I wish politicians would look out for minors, and not just minors on an island somewhere.
I'm not gonna make a comment there. I know, you know, everyone knows. None of us want to disappear. So let's not talk about it.
Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milking welfare.
I know a lot of people are going to take this line out of context, but it's facts. It's just in the past 10 years, the amount of homelessness that has popped up and is hidden. It's hidden. They don't talk about it. If you live close enough, you see it. If you don't live close enough, you hear about it, but you're like, nah, it can't be that bad. And then you drive through it. I mean, I just drove through a little piece of New Orleans, for those on the south. And I mean, we drove through a little piece of the town trying to get somewhere, and just tents everywhere and just homeless everywhere. And then it was back to normal again. And, you know, I grew up in the Pacific Northwest. A lot of my friends and family up there say the same thing. They say it has crept through all the neighborhoods and everything there. And, you know, people I trust and believe in, that they're talking about it, but no one else is talking about it. It's bad. And then at the same time, nothing against welfare. I've had to be on it in my young life, you know, when I was struggling with my first kid. I was on it for a little bit. There are people who need it. Back then, I had food stamps. I had a TANF, I think is what it's called, the cash on the card, and then I had a WIC just to be able to barely get by. I had to go through that. I got off it as fast as I could because I don't like depending on someone else. He's not talking about that. He's talking about the other people that get in the system and I mean, some close friends of mine have overheard conversations, legit conversations nearby with people talking, oh well, things are starting to get more expensive, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to have another kid so I get extra food stamp money. I mean, real talk, real conversations around people actually saying and believing and thinking this stuff. This is obviously it's probably not most on that system, but they're there. And how much of that system are they clouding up that could be used for the people that actually need it, that are homeless? It's sad.
God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds.
It's a very clever line. It's a line a lot of people hate, and I'm just. This is obviously something that he personally experienced. Working hard, labor work. I read a bit about his lifestyle. $14, $15 an hour, hard labor work, trying to barely get by. Essentially, is what this man has done in his life, and I've been there myself. And he probably was in line trying to get food, probably counting pennies to get his food, and someone in line in front of him was, buying bags and bags of fudge rounds and used a food stamp card for it. And if you're in that situation, if you're not in the situation, you don't get it. But if you're in that situation, you get it. So I personally haven't experienced the fudge rounds exactly, but I have experienced going to a store and walking through the store with my kid. This is after I'd gotten on my feet and was working hard and, shipyard, hard work, sweat my butt off, drenched through all my clothes after 30 minutes of work and soaking wet all day, just working hard, labor. And going to a store with my young kid and trying to shop and knowing I was on a budget and grabbing, like hamburger helper and then looking at my budget and then tear it up and just put it back and getting the store brand, and then like instead of getting like enough for the week, I'm getting emotional, I'm sorry. I've been there. I've done that. And then you get to the line and you're hoping that you got enough money for it. And then in front of you in line is a shopping cart that is over full. Like it's not just cut off at the top. It's like over full of all name brand stuff and good food, like not hamburger helper and cheap stuff to barely get by. I'm talking like steaks and pork chops and all the name brand stuff and cookies and snacks and everything. And I'm just like, you stand in line behind these people. And this is not one or two times. This is dozens and dozens of times of going through and barely getting by and trying to get stuff. And then you can see this person in front of you and like, man, what kind of job do they got? I would love, I need to get that kind of job. And then pull out a food stamp card. And it breaks you. You get your groceries, you put them in your car, and then you just cry the whole way home. Like, why is this so difficult? Why can't they get all of this food and I can't? I'm left with this store brand, generic, cheap stuff. It breaks you, and it's broken me multiple times. I many a time just crying after coming out of the grocery store thinking this is all I can get. I hope it makes it through the week.
Men are putting themselves 6 feet in the ground, 'cause all this damn country does is keep on kicking them down. Lord, it's a damn shame.
And this line isn't talked about enough. People are talking about it, but it's not enough. I mean, people are working their butts off and then they just give up and they put themselves in the ground. I mean, I have a cousin I was real close with back when I lived. I'm not gonna get regional on here, but when I lived somewhere else, I don't want to call that anything, but I mean, it got too much for him, and he's gone. And God, I wish I would have reached out, But that's what this world it's doing to a lot of people. The suicide rates are atrocious, and it's even trickled into kids these days. Like, it's always been everyone, but it's gone blown out of proportion, and it's so sad because this life keeps kicking them down. There's I can't take it anymore. and I feel it. I've felt it before, and I still feel it sometimes. And I gotta keep myself grounded. Like, I'm here, friends, family. I can't, like, no, don't think that stuff. But sometimes life just kicks you down. Like, God, why, why, why do bad things happen to good people? You know. At least I try to be as good as I can. I'm not gonna say I'm perfect.
What the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is. Living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men know the Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end. 'Cause the rich men know the rich men.
Just going back to taxes real quick. I mean, you get your income taxed, and then you go to the store and everything you buy is taxed, unless you live in certain places. Oregon is tax free, but you get higher income tax. Like Washington State is, you get the no tax on food, non-prepared food, but you have tax on items. But then I don't think you have income tax. Florida, you don't have tax on food as long as it's not prepared food. Where I'm at, I get income tax, and I get income tax and sales tax on everything, and state income tax as well. You got federal and state income tax that I get, and I literally have had to change my state income tax to claim zero, which means take as much tax as you want, and I'll get whatever is extra at the end of the year, because they were literally, I was owing money by telling them to take as much as you want. So I literally had to claim zero and give an extra $25 a week, just so I wouldn't go negative in tax season. I mean, that it's insane. And you buy something, you pay 10-15% tax on it. And if that transitions from you to somewhere else, like if you're buying stuff, I'm an author. I have to buy my books, and I have to pay tax on my books unless I fill out a ton of extra paperwork. And only some places will actually let me do that. And then I've already paid taxes on the books. If I sell my books at conventions, then I have to pay taxes again on it and get taxes from the people buying the book. It's just, it's taxed and taxed and taxed and overtaxed. You don't actually own anything in this world today. You buy a car, you pay it off completely. Guess what? You have to pay taxes on every. That's what a license plate is. That's what a tag is. You pay to keep your vehicle, or they will repossess it. The government will take it. Property taxes, your house taxes. You can own your house free and clear. No, you don't. You miss a payment on your taxes, they will take it from you. Even though you've paid taxes on it for 30 plus years and spent how much money on taxes, they will take it from you because they want to keep getting tax money from you. I'm sorry on the rabbit trail of taxes, but it's when you're barely getting by, them taxes hurt.
I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay.
I mean, what else do you need to say, right? I mean, it's just, buddy. Now, I will say I have grinded for a long time. I mean, and think about it for a person who wants to be creative. I mean, I've worked so much labor jobs and overtime hours, BS pay. So I had a bad work injury, right? I had a really bad work injury. I had a herniated disc pushing 3/4 of the way into my spinal cord for all this heavy lifting stuff I had to do. And I mean, I was this close to either dying or being paralyzed from the neck down. I was that close. And I'd have spinal surgery. I have a titanium plate, 2 screws in my neck. And what did I have to do once I got healed enough? I'd go right back to doing the labor stuff that got me hurt. I had no choice. No choice. That or me and my whole family just homeless. Like I had no choice. And this kind of song just it brings that out. It brings those emotions out that like, for us to have gone through that grind and have been broken and had to fix ourselves with super glue, but all the cracks are still there, and then go back to the grind and get broken again, then super glue ourselves back together and go back out and grind. I will say that I've got out of the labor side and I have worked my butt off to to better myself. And I mean, but on top of all this, the labor over and over again, and then from that to all night working on my writing and my books and being with my family, and just like it spreads you so thin if you're trying to get out of it, to where you barely even sleep. And as I will say that my job today, and I still have a day job. I'm not a YouTube person, or I'm not a full-time author yet. Even with 20 books, I'm not even close, right? But my job today, compared to my jobs that I've grinded up, I enjoy my job today. My day job, I have a lot of fun with it. I do enjoy it a lot. It's not like the grind, the hard labor stuff I had before. But I've been there, and it hurts, and it still hurts a bit today. Because even though I enjoy my job, it takes a lot out of you, and especially if you have a creative spirit like I do, writing books and talking about stuff. It's hard to get the extra time doing that and have family time and everything else. But anyway, this is my first little reaction video. So it wasn't a first time reaction, but I started looking at the reaction stuff that's been going on, and I'm thinking about maybe I might do a little bit of it if anyone finds this stuff interesting. I do think some of this stuff it's very interesting to talk about. Just get your feelings out, and I've already broke down and cried a couple times in this video, just telling about a little bit of my story as far as stuff I've been through and stuff that I've seen. Like I said, it's not, none of his statements are calling out the whole system. It's just pointing out flaws. That's the way I see it, at least. It's pointing out flaws. There are flaws in the system, and if we don't talk about it, we can't fix it. And it's not about like getting rid of welfare. Like I said, I was on it. I needed it. There are people out there who need it. But maybe we should open the conversations to how can we make this better? It should be better. It should help people it needs to help. I don't know how to do that, because you start talking about putting restrictions on what you can get with food stamps, and that gets into way government overreach. I don't know how to fix it, but golly, we should talk about it. So anyway, you can post your comments, your thoughts. Heck, if enough of you subscribe to my channel, I might even be able to try and get a little more passive income to help my writing career. That'd be cool, but I ain't expecting nothing. Yeah, let me know if you like to see me do some more of these, because I'd be happy to. I haven't really watched too much YouTube stuff. This one, just I happened to see it on a friend's timeline. I'm like, saw how much it exploded, and I'm like, okay, yeah. And I watched it, and I'm like, okay, I got to talk about this, And everyone else is talking about it. I need to go ahead and just talk about it. Anyway, thanks so much. Like, subscribe, leave comments. I'll be happy to respond.